picking it up in media res. Me and Collie B are having a conversation, mid-conversation.
Post-res.
Yeah, accountability is important because you're right. Like, I work with some people, and like I encounter people a lot in life, and like I even deal with this with having a 12-year-old. So where people will say that like I'm dealing with this. Maddie did this with me with her telling my mom got this idea in Maddie's head that like she's got test anxiety, which could be true. She could have test anxiety. That could be true, and that's why she has trouble with certain tests, even though she understands a lot of concepts pretty well. I think she just rushes through shit. But when I'm talking to Maddie about that, Maddie tells me, well, I just get nervous when I'm taking tests. And I told her, okay, well, it's good that you're aware of that. So then that means it's something that you can work on. And she was like, well, no, because I'm like, no, if you know that that's an issue, what happens is, and she's 12, so whatever. But like, I work with so many people, and like, work's a bad example. I shouldn't throw my work homies under the bus because they're, I love my work homies, but like, it is a great example of
you're
like
going to beat yourself up.
Yeah,
you're always going to beat yourself up.
Yeah, people that I run into in the real life who say like, I deal with X, I have X trauma, this, and then that's where it ends. It's like, I'm severely bipolar, I have ADHD, there are things that are up with me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on the spectrum in some way or whatever, but like, all I do is like, okay, I know when I'm depressed, so like, I can recognize I'm depressed right now. Yeah, I'm in a down cycle. So
it takes years of your self-recognition to be able to do that.
I've been in therapy since I was 14. So that's the advantage that I have, is that I've been in multiple different types of therapies for my whole life. And so I've learned the language. So because I'm manic depressive, because I'm bipolar, okay, I'm having a depressive episode. Yeah. And I can recognize that.
So you can describe it. There's descriptors that help you to make the reality of the situation.
So does it end there? Do I say I have a depressive episode?
I think that's instinctive to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to beat myself up because I have this problem when you learn about it.
Yeah.
And then eventually you start to navigate
Exactly. Because that's what I'm saying. Does it end there? Do I say, oh, I'm in a depressive episode? And do I let that just mean I don't do the dishes? Do I let that mean I don't...
Or self-medicate and then just like
work.
brush it under the rug.
Yeah, it doesn't mean any of those things. It means, okay, I'm in a depressive episode and I'm aware of that. So what I do is I dedicate the energy that I do have to my responsibilities. And yes, the things that give me the dopamine and the serotonin that I crave, blah, 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 might fall to the wayside. Hey, I may just result in easy dopamine releases like getting high or like scrolling my phone or whatever, sure. Yeah. But I'm aware of that's the episode I'm in, and then what I do is when I like where I'm at right now, where I'm in a manic period. This is the time that I use to get all my ducks in a row.
Yeah, and this is the point about accountability that there's something you said to me a long time ago is that something that sticks in my head too is that nobody's ever going to work harder for you and your well-being than yourself.
Yeah, no one's going to work harder for you than you. Yeah.
Your own accountability is in your own hands, and you can learn the tools and mechanisms and the language from other people, and you can learn from the experiences of others, and other people that are in your proximity can be going through similar things, and you can learn from their experiences, but ultimately it's up to you. It's your decision every single day to make the choice for your own well-being.
This is hustle. This is like hustle and grind set. These are like the keys to success.
These are the keys to hustle and success.
101, dude.
Manicure and pedicure once a week. Major key to success. Major.
That's why I prefer the sobriety angle, because it's not because I think I'm superior to anybody, but I know that I need that. Like for the way my brain functions, for my own accountability, for my own emotional regulation, executive dysfunction, et cetera, with ADHD, it's that I know that my substance abuse is not going to help the issue. It's just going to mask it, And
if that's your way of taking accountability, then that makes sense.
Because it helps me to do more adult things and to do my responsibilities and to basically hold myself accountable because like I said earlier, you beat yourself up at first, and then like you said, where does that go after that?
Where does it go? Yeah.
But then after that, you have to stop. You go through it enough times, and that's why with Maddie, it's probably going to be for her a learning experience where she's going to beat herself up many, many times. She's going to go through probably highs and lows and pitfalls, and maybe hate herself and learn to love herself like we all do. Yeah. And then eventually, for me, I'll speak on my own behalf. You just go through so much of isolation and hating yourself and just not allowing yourself to get better that you have no other choice but let me try. Let me actually try my hardest to do the real work to get better. And that's what really taking accountability is that you've done everything but what you're supposed to do, which is the aversive behavior of ADHD. You do anything distracting you from the actual work and the real, the actual, the elephant in the room in front of you, to eventually to the point where you're like burnt out on everything else that you used to try to numb the pain and to mask the behaviors. And then you say, what if I actually gave it a concerted, sincere effort to confront it,
Yeah. What my inner mantra is that helps me,
medication helps a lot, though.
No, but yeah, that may be. But like my inner mantra to help me with that is I just tell myself, just do the damn thing.
Yeah, that's why I used to say it's machine mode. Just don't think about it so much. Just do it. Just go for it. And I hate to use the branding of that fucking company, but they kind of co-opted that.
You just have to fucking
just do it.
Yeah.
Like the more you think about it, the more you're gonna get hung up on it. The less you're gonna look for other reasons to avoid it.
That was starting this podcast. I mean, you and I probably by the time even this episode will probably come out like weeks from when we record it.
Of course.
And
we still have those issues, but we're working on it.
But even then, we will probably still not have set up all the shit that we need to set up to have it everywhere else. But But that is like the point is that we just are doing the damn thing. We're just doing the podcast.
Right. The more we worry ourselves about
the reason why we didn't start this a year or two earlier is because every time that we would go to start a podcast, we would
overthink it.
We would say, okay, well, how do we distribute all this shit? Yeah. Okay, well, we know what we
got ahead of ourselves.
Exactly. And you know what we did this time is we just got together and we said, okay, what's the easiest thing? Put it on YouTube. And so
20
right now,
listeners, who cares?
Yeah, right now it's and we're not even on a weekly schedule because of my mental illness. So like even then, we're still doing it, and like that's
that's a big. If
we had just told ourselves, there's so much to do and we have executive dysfunction issues, so we just can't do it.
Right.
Then we wouldn't be
never do it at all.
I wouldn't be seeing you as much as I am again.
Right,
we hadn't seen each other. We wouldn't see each other for
that's
months.
My big motivator too.
And months on end.
I like to come out just to hang out. Really.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like you and I, peek behind the curtain, depart the kimono for listeners. But me and Kali B have been best friends since fourth grade for me, since I was 9 and he was 10.
It's like 2005.
Yeah.
So for 20 years.
Yeah. And we've been friends longer than either of us were in school.
Yeah.
And it's the longest relationship that either of us have ever had, other than our family. Mm-hmm. And there would still be times where we wouldn't see each other for months and months on end, just because we're both caught up in our own lives. Well,
that happens after 25. Yeah, you're like,
exactly.
I'm an adult.
Well, guess what? Now that we're starting doing a podcast, we see each other every other week, at least once.
So there's always a positive glint. Yeah, there's a boon from there.
And that goes down to that all goes back to accountability. Don't ever tell yourself if we're gonna offer any piece of financial advice for your life, it's don't ever just don't make excuses for yourself, because no one will work harder for you than you. You're not fooling anybody but you.
You can do it! You can do it all night long!
Whatever reality that you speak into the world is just going to be the one that you manifest. Not to sound like a new age hippie, but if you keep saying I can't do something, then you're not going to.
You're never going to do it.
Yeah, and it's just as easy as I can do it, because you're still going to face obstacles.
Yeah,
but it's just the consistency of trying. Just keep trying, and if you avoid it, you can only avoid it for so long until it eventually comes to a head, and you got to confront it and face on. And that makes you a better person, is confronting the hard aspects of your life. It makes you a better person to confront the things that make you uncomfortable. And you don't have to do it all the time. You can always run and hide. I'm a big self-isolation kind of person, and I need that to recharge my social batteries, to reset my mental health and all of that stuff, And there are times where I'm just like, I should really pull myself out of that and thrust myself into social situations that are uncomfortable and that I'm not normally, I guess comfortable is really the only way to put it, because it's it's so much easier for me to just be like, well, I can just fuck off and hide in my room and not spend any money and not see anybody for months and I'll be fine and blah, blah, blah. And on the other end of it, things will get better.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, it could, it could help me to kind of level out for a little bit. But at the end of it all, I'm not really getting better. And it's not about this hyper fixation and feverish need to constantly better yourself and better yourself and better yourself. But you do have to confront these aspects of yourself that are holding yourself back. And if you're not, then what do you expect?
Sometimes
you can't blame the world for your problems all the time.
Sometimes you find a stick in the woods, and it is the perfect size and shape and perfect thickness, and you can use it as a walking stick right away.
Rare, though.
Other times, and the majority of times, you got to whittle shit down.
Yep.
You got to peel at the bark.
You
got to shape it. You got to shape it. If you find a stone, not all stones are smooth.
Yep.
You got to shape them. You got to whittle it down. Everything
and it's not going to be complete until you complete it.
Exactly. Every fucking thing takes some sort of effort, and I feel like that's like a lot of the symptom of our. Maybe I think I was going to say our generation, but I don't think that that's true. I think
you said that to me once when we were kids too. Which when I was a kid, I didn't understand what you were saying because I thought you were talking about work, like working and slaving away. But we would talk about like the meaning of life when we were in like 5th and 6th grade and stuff. You had said something. It was just like I think the meaning of life is to work, like to put effort into things, to put yourself into something. And to just constantly chip away at something. And for me, I was like, I don't want to work a fucking job, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's the point is that it's effort. You always have to put effort into something. Otherwise, you're just going to be stagnant, you know? And you could go with the flow like a dead fish.
You know where that comes from?
What's that?
At the end of Dogma, they ask...
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the concept of Dogma.
They ask God, like, what's it all mean? Like, she asked God, like, why are we all here?
Yeah.
And, like... The God who's like can't remember the actress, but it's some lady.
No, yeah, I remember.
I think it's
her.
like Alanis Morissette playing her.
No, it's some other chick.
Or Juliette Lewis. It's some. I want to say it's Alanis Morissette.
No,
you owe me if it is because I want to say it's. I'm almost positive that it's Alanis Morissette. But like whoever
plays God?
the God, like when she comes back to life and she opens up the door of the church. And she's there.
Maybe I'm thinking of the other chick in the movie.
Yeah, you're thinking of the main character lady who's not God.
Who was in Men in Black, right?
Yeah. But the lady who plays God...
Linda Fiorentino. Alanis Morissette is God.
God, yeah.
You're so right.
Linda Fiorentino or whatever is the main character.
Yeah, she was in Men in Black. That's the one I'm thinking
that Jay is how Jay keeps trying to have his three-way with.
I feel good today, Silent Bob. We're gonna make some money. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to that party. We're gonna get some pussy.
Anyways, but that all comes from. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that all comes from.
Wow, she's pretty.
At the end of that movie, she Linda Fiorentino's character asks her, like why we're all here, and then she just boops her on the nose and says something like just goes barp, like makes a noise, and I thought. She said work. I thought she said work. And
that fucked my head up when you said that for years.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying by the reason why I did internalize that. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself...
Like, do the work. Like, you got to work on yourself.
I thought work is the reason why we're here.
The word that buzzed in my head for the longest time, there was a band by this name too, but it was even before that, is the word that stuck in my head forever was betterment. Yeah. You remember that band Betterment?
Yeah.
That word stuck in my head forever because it was like I don't need to be a better, like there's always going to be a better version of me that I need to constantly chase, but it's like try to get like do better, be better. Yeah. And so I have this concept too, not to keep rolling and railing on, but I have this concept that I even did a little podcast about. It's this personal philosophy of mine. It starts with learning. You have to learn about the world and yourself. But once you learn as much as you can, you have to try your best to know better. It's a kind of a reductive, catch-all kind of phrase, but it's three steps: know better, do better, be better. Right. So once you know better about something, or if you don't know any better, how can you do better? But if you know better, you can do better, and by action, you can effectively be a better version of yourself. But being a better version of yourself, you kind of find yourself at a crossroads, right? You're like, what does this make me, like, what does being better mean? And effectively that means that like just by knowing better and by doing better, you already are better.
So that's dialectical too.
Yeah.
It's something that's interesting.
There's more. I'll go on to the end of that, but go on.
Yeah, but that's interesting because that is dialectical that's conceptually dialectical because knowing and doing and being are all in a constant conversation with themselves. And in knowing, you are doing, and in doing, you are being, and in being, you are knowing. all at the same time.
Exactly, and it's all
and there's exactly
amalgamous.
Yeah, and that's like and that's like truly like that's the Hegelian dialectic, not in the synthesis antithesis way that people usually interpret it, but in the actual way that he wrote about it, which is that these things are constantly in conversation, and there is a constant undoing in doing and a constant doing in undoing.
That's the evolution of it all.
Yeah,
ultimately.
So yeah, I mean it's dialectical in nature, and I think that like that goes back to even my philosophy as a kid is like, and in the whole idea of betterment is that like I have a fundamental belief that everything progresses.
Yes.
And I don't mean progresses in a way that like
that's what being alive is.
Yeah,
too,
I don't believe in a way that like history is a given. Like I don't think that anything is
there's an inevitability.
Yeah, I don't think that there's an inevitability of things, but I think that things that society, and this is what we just talked about in the last episode,
experientially, that there's an eventuality.
This is what we were talking about in the last episode with like how historical materialism parallels evolutionary, the theory of evolution.
Gotcha.
The going back to that, and this actually is good for our like the whole concept of betterment and doing better is that like it is a constant thing. It is not any linear thing,
and it requires self-accountability.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Well, can I go just a step further? Is that I talked about this on my little College podcast, which I haven't really been focusing on that at all because it's not really a thing for me. But
bless.
Huh?
Bless.
You said plus?
I just said bless.
Oh. But, okay, so, like, just to kind of, like, rail for a second on the know better, do better part. You know, there was this concept about these Christian missionaries that would go and say, oh, how can you say that an Indian or an indigenous person is sinful and guilty, can go to hell if they didn't know about heaven? And they say, well, they didn't know any better, so they're absolved of sin, right? So it's almost like if you didn't know any better, how are you going to do any better to get to the point of being better? And that's not really very concrete in the ideology that I'm trying to purport either. But the idea is that if in an ideal...
it's just you wrestling with these concepts.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just really exploring the potentiality of all of these things. But so let's say that you follow it to an ideal linear scale, right? So you go, you've learned enough about life and yourself, what you like and dislike, to know better or not. But then let's say you do know better. You do better, and on behalf of the knowing better, you perform better actions to take accountability. And eventually you come to the conclusion that, I am already being better by doing so. But then you have to wrestle with the concepts of your own personal ego and the ignorance of the ego and the greed of your own desires that fuel the ego, right? So if you were to have done all of that you needed to do, right, let's say you do everything you want to do. You accomplish every feat. You have all the accolades. You have all of the praise and support. And you've done every fucking possible thing that a human being could possibly do in this life to the end and the extent of ego and desire. What is at the end of that?
Well,
service to the other.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that's a good. I think that's
selfless service.
Well, that's exactly what I was gonna. That's exactly where I was gonna go with that.
That's where I was saying that one time with the mutual aid solidarity type thing. That was the only reason I could come to that conclusion.
Well, I think that's a good distillation of like why psychoanalysis as like an individual practice is important as a community project, because ultimately this like personal betterment requires
everybody,
and leads to like both requires a stronger community but also enables a stronger community.
Right.
If everybody is working towards being the best person they can be, inevitably that also means being a more compassionate and empathetic person. It inevitably strengthens the community, and a stronger community inevitably leads to a person being stronger.
Exactly. And it's a feedback loop,
and it leads to that disillusion of self.
Exactly.
Like the quickest way to the disillusion of self is through the
having all needs met for your entire
the
community.
Embrace of the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to think about that when I was younger. Is that like whenever I would go through a really hard time or depressive episode, or I'd feel particularly alienated or isolated, or if I did it to myself too, and I felt alone and sad and miserable, I realized that one thing that would make me feel better is if I lifted someone else up who was going through a hard time. Because it wasn't just that I was satisfying my ego. It was just the fact that I could help somebody else get out of their situation, make them feel better, and I felt better about myself. And then we could kind of share in that and that kind of upliftment, you know? And that's, in my opinion, that's just like, that is the epitome of community.
It's the same reason why I like getting, like when I get fucked up, I like to like be like, hey, have this drink with me. Or like
I get that. I totally
when we
get
used to
that.
like all take acid together, I would just like want to make sure that everyone was like on the same level. I want to make sure everyone took
guys are vibing the same
acid at
way.
the same time. I want to make sure everyone was like, I didn't ever want anybody not getting fucked up because
or having a good time.
Yeah, because exactly. I want everyone having a good time, but like I also just like want to make sure that everyone is like sharing the same experience.
Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Can you feel it, Mr. Krabs?
That was a huge hang up of mine too.
And I would feel alienated if I wasn't sharing if I wasn't like I would
if
feel alienated if I felt like someone else wasn't having the same experience, because I would feel like this sense of the other, like
right, that there was a divisive like barrier.
Yeah, like if I'm drinking and someone like this isn't relative to like I've gotten over this a lot, especially being like living with a partner and everything like that. But just like I used to very much be like, oh, if I'm like getting high and someone else is not, I would feel like self-conscious about it, because it's just like, well, then I can't. I'm very aware that I'm high.
We're on a different conscious level.
Yeah, I'm very aware that I'm high, and I'm worried that everything that I'm going to say is going to come off as just me being high.
Yeah,
so I feel like you and I, you're not getting high, but I am. I feel like you and I now can't have a legitimate connection because you're going to view everything that I'm saying, exactly like you said, like as a stupid stoner.
No, but if anything, I feel better about myself too, because I feel that same self-consciousness, you know, where I'm like, if I'm a little too drunk around people who are less drunk,
it's imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it is exactly that, 100,000%.
Yeah,
and you know, I used to have this hang up growing up that I've kind of like dealt with recently. And I haven't gone to therapy in a long time, but I am kind of my own therapist in a way, where I'm just like, I have to go through these introspective moments. It sucks.
Yeah, that's the healthy thing you want to hear.
No, yeah, I don't advise that at all for people listening. But
I mean, you kind of have to sometimes.
I'm a pretty self-aware person.
Yeah, with the price of medical shit. Because our friend Mary, she's a therapist, but we can't go to her because we know her.
Yeah,
I try to get her. I try to be like, hey, do you think you can? She's like, no, I can't do people that I know, but I give you some recommendations.
Oh, no way.
So I'm like, fuck.
I've never talked to her about that.
Yeah, you can't. It's like a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
with
no,
someone
that
you
makes
personally know. And it would be awkward because she knows girls that I've hooked up with. So it would be very awkward for me to be talking to me about my life. And then she could just like go hang out with those people and be like, hey, this is what's going on with Connor.
Yeah. No, that's very, very exposing.
But I would say...
well, before you go on to that, let me finish my concept real quick. Is that when I was younger, a big hang-up of mine that would actually fuck my entire life up is that, and even until like the past few years that I've kind of gotten over because I've been so self-analytical and critical of this concept, is that I used to have this hang-up where I would say everything would be so better, or everything would be so much easier if, like, I don't know how to describe it. I'm sorry, I'm phrasing it incorrectly. Sorry, I'm kind of getting hung up on the thought here. It could all be so much easier is the phrase.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Everyone makes things difficult. My family makes things difficult. We get into petty dramas. We get into these conflicts. We hate each other. We have these egos and these differences in our opinions and what we desire out of life. But it could all be so much easier. And it reminds me when I was a kid at the beach house, when everything was perfect and nothing hurt. And we were all family and we all loved each other. And there was no divide and nobody hated each other. And there wasn't like, oh, you're this and that. You're a bastard. You're an asshole. You're this and that. You believe in this concept and you believe in that. Or you don't believe in God and you do. You know, everything was just like this blissful ignorance.
Well, right? It
could all be so much easier.
You know what helped me conceptualize that better, and what helped me like
I've gotten over it.
You know what helped me rationalize that is that when you're a kid, and I've noticed this in Maddie, and that's what's helped me realize this is that like I feel like I've developed really good coping mechanisms, and that I can handle. It feels weird to talk about ourselves like this. Because it feels like humble brags, but it's just that you and I are so, you're so critically self-aware that we're just like, right, good or bad, we are just so conscious of our own situations. And the way that, so for me, I've noticed like with Maddie growing up and everything, and her ability, her lack of, because she's had a good life, when she's faced with adversity, she fucking flips out. And it can be small shit. Yeah, you know what I mean. It could be like she lost something. It could just be the simplest shit. It just like it's
you don't
overwhelming.
Have a concept of going
exactly, and exactly, you don't have a concept of adversity. And what I realize is that exactly what you're talking about, how at one point, it feels like there are nothing in the world, everything's good and your problems are so small and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think that like, I just apply that to the world as a whole. Yeah. That like if the way that I view the problems of a child as being insignificant to me, if I remove myself one more, the problems are insignificant to
the world.
Right? To the world, and that's how I rationalize it. Welcome to Chuff Chat, by the way, everybody.
And I obviously have no concept of being a parent, but from what I understand, in my parents' reality is that if only you were to recall what it was like to be in my position as a child, when I was a child, like remember what your experience was like going through what I'm going through right now, and you can kind of relate to me in that aspect, to that point where you can kind of put ourselves on the same level playing field, and then vice versa. Obviously, I mean, a child can't put themselves in a parent's position, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
To understand. I that's how I feel about Maddie all the time. I'm an incredibly patient dad because like I know that like in the same way that I rationalize dealing with people that like this is gonna sound shitty, but like the same way that I rationalize dealing with people who I view as dumber than me is I just in a
let's not mince words. There are some severely stupid people.
Yeah. I feel like I am constantly whether it be in work situations or just social situations in general, I am dealing with people who are like. There's a guys episode where they talk about Mensa guys, like high IQ guys, and they're like these high IQ guys. They'll be on the Mensa subreddits, and they'll be like, "My wife is several deviations below me IQ wise." And sometimes I feel that way, not about Julie, but like just about life in general. To be like, these motherfuckers are many deviations below me.
Evolutionarily, just
these motherfuckers are many deviations below my IQ.
No, I mean,
I seriously have that to where like I have like I've even talked about this with like the owner of my restaurant, my boss, where he's been like to me where I'm dealing with an issue. He's just been like, you're smarter than them. You just have to be better because you can at the end of the day think this through and they can't. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I'm like, at the end of the day, like, and there are certain situations where there was a philosophy major, you remember Zach that used to work at, so there was a philosophy major that used to work with, and he would say, oh, well, think about how dumb the average person is. And I'd be like, yeah. And he'd be like, well, 50% of the people are dumber than that. Dude, and I'm like, okay,
that's what I think about all the fucking time.
Yeah. And it's fucking rough, but like.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, it's just that they don't have the tools and the capacity to have any self-reflection.
That's exactly what it is. I'm not making any value judgments. It's an important clarification. Welcome to Chuff Chat, by the way. It's an important distinction to make because, like, I'm not making any value judgments when I say that someone isn't like either isn't intelligent.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you're stupid, so you're not worth love. Or
it's nothing like that. I fully recognize that. Like, I fully believe in systemic
the material conditions of intellectualism.
Exactly. Material conditions affect intellectual capacity, and our society does not facilitate intellectual growth. So I do not fault anyone.
Can I go one step further too? I also really believe that it's the responsibility of the parents to bring that sort of intellectual esteem onto their kids. Like, I don't think that I would be as interested in being smart at all if my dad didn't like overhype me to be like, you're smarter than most people. And maybe I was, but like, he's like, you're smart. You're going to be a genius. You're the golden boy. You're the golden child. You're the prince of fucking stars. And that's
Wrong kid, Dad.
And I could have let that get to my head.
Well, because of the kind of right-wing ideology that your dad has, he believes in like meritocracy.
Right.
And he believes in like,
but it's also a projection of his own ego.
Well, but I mean, but like, let's dissect that ego for a second. Because like let's give him the benefit of the doubt in this instance. So what's happening in that situation is that because of the kind of like Reagan-esque libertarian right-wing guy that your dad is, he believes in bootstraps, meritocracy. You are when you do better, you are better in the same way that you're talking about. Knowing better and doing better is being better.
Right.
That is a completely acceptable thing and ideology to have on an individual basis. Gets problematic when you try to base society and government on that.
Exactly. As an individualist perspective,
what he's projecting onto you is not necessarily. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's esteem. He's building up esteem in me.
I don't even think it's an ego thing. I think that he truly believes that and because you are smart, and like I truly believe that he believes that like, wow, my kid is smart, and that's the ticket. He believes in tickets. Society, you need
the key to success.
The keys to success.
Yeah.
He saw you being smart, and he was like, it's like if you were very good at baseball.
Like my cousin,
exactly.
For example.
That's your key that's a key. Oh, he's got one of the keys.
So we got to keep hyping it up and keep him,
Yeah. I mean, and my parents are liberals, like, and my dad is like a weird libertarian liberal. Like he's a weird, he's a weird thing in and of itself. But like
libertarian socialist.
His belief was always in an academic meritocracy that you work hard and you're smart, and all you need to do is learn. And if you're smart, that's all that matters. Being smart and learning is all that matters. Getting a degree, and my parents my whole life told me, get a degree in whatever you want because no one can take the degree away from you. They just cared about learning. That's truly what they cared about. They cared about education, and they cared about bettering yourself, and like that. But what I'm saying is that that's a hyper individualist liberal ideology.
Oh, absolutely.
We were both raised in the same sort of, whether or not our parents recognize it, we were both raised in the sort of meritocracy of
hyper-individualist.
You do the best for yourself, and that makes the best.
You carve your own path out in this world.
Well, dude, like you and I are very smart, and you and I maybe have not made all the best decisions. But like, where would we be if we had made other decisions? Somewhere better? I doubt it.
No. Because you have to
if I hadn't had a kid at 18, I don't think I'd be somewhere better.
Here's a discussion I've always wanted to have too: is that the concept of success in the world that we live in, success is hyper predicated on capitalist values, right? On like if you make good money, or I don't know. I mean, like.
No,
success as far as like self-development and personal enrichment and like your development as a human being.
Would you agree? And it's an individual. Success is an individualistic ideal in capitalist society. Do you think like that's fair?
Well, I believe it's like your development as a human being, as a person, as your empathy,
as an individual.
Yeah, in a sense, right? And that's what success really comes down to. Is that not like success in society and everybody succeeds that you succeed?
Yeah, like,
but it's success that like if you but ultimately it boils down to materialism, where it's like
exactly.
If you're rich,
that's where I try to lead.
That's what makes you successful. Like Elon Musk is considered the most successful human being on the planet because he's the richest man in the world.
And that's why he's a
fucking brainlet.
And that's why some motherfuckers view him as the smartest guy in the world because he's so rich.
He's the richest.
But in reality, he's not even like liquid rich the way he is.
No,
he just owns all these. He has
so many
stake
assets.
in all these assets. Yeah,
he barely has actual.
Which like let's bring up some topical shit. Did you see that his fucking there's a New York. I remember if it was a New Yorker article or it was a New York Times. I need to find it. But the article about his drug use.
Of ketamine? Yeah, it's pretty stark. It's obvious.
So it had come out that like on the trail and stuff like that like, hey, we have to do some
He has a box of drugs,
we have to do some topical shit. We have to hit some news every now and then. And it took us 30 minutes to introduce ourselves. But we were gonna start in media res, and then it just kept going. We were just so wrapped up. But his to talk about like, the idiocy of the elites who are supposed to be the bastions of human progress. In theory, if you're the richest and you're the most powerful, that means you're the best.
Celebrity involved too.
Well, look at the motherfuckers who are the best. This guy's so fucked up on ketamine all the time that he can't control his bladder on a campaign trail.
Not only was he doing so much ketamine that he was telling people that it was giving him bladder issues, but that he was also appeared to be using, judging by this box, many, many prescription drugs.
That's what that article was saying, that he was having trouble fucking controlling his bladder.
He's going to piss every 30 minutes.
Stephen Miller punched him in the face because he's like hooking up with his wife and shit.
Yeah. And he's got a botched penis. His kids don't even talk to him anymore. Most of the women that he's impregnated are surrogate pregnancies and that they don't even communicate
IVF
with.
and shit.
IVF. So it's not like he's having actual sex with these women. It's that he's this big Chad fucking sex monster or anything.
No,
it's
the way that he was hitting on that fucking air lady
horse?
Was trying to buy her horse.
Oh, what if I buy you a horse?
Who the fuck who with a working dick offers to buy someone like
this is my favorite phrase lately. All hat, no horse, baby.
Amen, brother.
All cowboy hat, no horse.
Amen, brother.
You know what I'm saying?
Amen, brother.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. The metrics of success in a capitalist, like individualist society are how much money you have, how much like influence you have, how much celebrity status you have, and not how much personal development you've done to improve yourself or be a good person or to be an empathetic individual and understand that, other people aren't objects to discard, especially women. Holy fucking shit. Like, especially talking to my girlfriend now and talking about the dating pool that she's dealt with, that like women are treated like objects to discard. And they're like, the bar, this is the phrase that I hear all the time when it comes to the dating pool, especially for my sister too, is the bar is in hell. And I'm like, ladies, the bar does not exist anymore. The bar has been thrown into the void, cast away to never return. It's just, there is no bar no more.
One of my friends, like
James Cameron can't find it anymore.
One of my friends is so like unbelievably gorgeous, and I'll censor this.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So like, she's like unbelievably gorgeous, like total bombshell. Does music, makes art, all this shit like that.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Like, or even like, I'll censor this too. Even like these are great. Like these women are like they're like these women are absolutely like knockout, gorgeous women,
10 out of 10
great
cash,
personalities, all this kind of shit.
Deserve
and
a ring.
The amount of stories that I see them posting about fumbles, of like men fumbling them and all this shit.
Oh, and the fucking quote unquote riz that people use to try to like flirt with each other.
Dude, I mean,
like,
I wonder.
Do it squirt? Like, do it fart?
It's
like,
fucking insane, man.
Just no decorum, no romance, no fucking. There's no courting anymore. There's no like sense of consideration. It's like what you said a long time ago about like just consider another. Consider the other person as not like this other or this object to be desired or this like, the male gaze, right? Where it's just like you're this unattainable object. It's like that is an individual. That was one thing that I had with my quote unquote first love in 2017, which you can censor her name. I was.
Yeah.
Is that I
at least just
censor.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll call this episode a symphony of censored women.
They brought us whole binders full of women.
But, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's just that like it's not that I really had this hang up or fixation of just like projecting a fantasy onto them, but it was kind of the manic pixie dream girl thing where I was like, oh, you are this perfect person and you meet all of the qualifications that I want in a partner, but I wasn't really giving them the space. To be fair, looking back at things, they were extremely toxic and low-key were using me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was like, it's I don't know. It's just a projection of a fantasy.
You just need to come to the realization that the other person's a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
stop projecting a fantasy of this
otherness. And so many men, whether it be like because they're othering them for sexual reasons or they're othering them for, like you said, like these pixie girl idealization reasons or whatever. I mean, I think about this when like I wonder like sometimes. And I don't say this because I get angry or anything like this. I say this because truly I'm just a goofball. I wonder why my wife's with me because, like, I'm just fucking goofy.
You're like, what do you see?
She has to deal with me being goofy.
I see that all the time.
Yeah.
I feel that way myself, too. I'm like, what are you... But I don't know. It's like you can't really compare. It's like comparing trauma. It's like comparing yourself with all of your good qualities to other people, too. It's like, I don't know. It's just I don't know. I question what people put up with and why they let themselves put up with such heinous treatment too.
Well, I mean, but that was
not really that bad. I'm not that bad.
That's what I was gonna say is that like I have all these ideas of like I'm like why the hell is my wife with me? And then like I'm still friends with the majority of my exes. Yeah, and then like and like it's just a situation where because the majority of my friends are female. Like every single time that I've talked to a woman about like when I've talked about exes to mine or anything like that, just like I've been confronted with this thing that like the feedback that I get is that like, oh well you listen and you are interested and like all this kind of shit and then like and if I'm like if that's the fucking bare minimum, that's what's insane. Like the amount of tweets that I see of like women being like, was on a date with a man for, we went to 3 different bars and blah blah blah, and he didn't ask me anything about myself once. It's
Why
like,
would you even go on after the first date?
Yeah,
know?
dude. You
have to have these standards.
I want gossip. Like, tell me about your friends. Tell me where you went to school.
It doesn't happen overnight. I get
shit.
that.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. You have to go through these shitty experiences to know what not to put up with anymore. That's the know better part. Eventually, you're going to learn from these situations to know better than to be treated that way.
Just like men like us have to realize, like, knowing better. I luckily got over this in high school when I had, like, an unhealthy fixation on one particular girl.
Yeah.
And then once that was cured by just talking to another girl and getting a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, once that was cured and I was like, oh shit, this was unhealthy. Why the fuck do I give a fuck
It's
about
an alteration of the experience.
Yeah. And that was literally it. It's like once you get through that one experience, you start learning. Luckily learned a little bit early, but like the amount of people that just like, it just takes a modicum of empathy is really what it comes down to.
Right.
That's a reductive term, but it's this whole idea where whether it be for sexual reasons, whether it be a guy dehumanizing women for sex, or whether it be a guy dehumanizing a woman for like over romanticizing, what it comes down to is this whole like new concept in our society of like people like have like are like rotted to the core with this main character syndrome.
Who says I can't?
The man with a funny hat.
I want one. I want a golden goose. Gooses. Geeses.
Yeah, it's got to be a projection of this lack of self-worth and lack of self-esteem and lack of self-empathy as well.
Well, lack of self-worth, I can agree with that, but it's this weird concoction, amalgamation of a lack of own self-worth, but also this dehumanizing disconnect from other people. Like the amount of people that the amount of people that I talk to who believe in like this whole idea of people being NPCs.
No, I've heard people now saying like, "Oh, other people don't exist." That's the extent of it.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, okay, and I was talking about this at work because people were talking about like, oh, they got NPC mentality. And I'm like, okay, if you for a second believe that other people are automated,
what separates you?
What separates you?
What makes you different?
Is exactly it. What makes you different?
Yeah.
And then they try to go into
into
some Cartesian, well, I think, therefore I exist.
Yeah.
Okay, well...
Oh, I'm different because I've been through this X, Y, and Z.
That's Descartes.
What makes you different than that? They've gone through the X, Y, and Z, and they think of their own personal hyper-individual shit as well.
It's this Cartesian... They try to conceptualize life in a Cartesian dualism of, I think, therefore I exist.
And I'm better.
Well, what you don't understand, when Descartes says that, he's actually saying the opposite. Descartes is referencing the fact that, like...
It's almost platonic in a sense.
Yeah, the existence is this like non-corporeal like amalgamation of experiences and thoughts and emotions and shit like that. Not to be too head ass. This is like our least comedic episode ever.
Right, of course.
But just like
it's the most philosophical.
Yeah, what is this? Episode 12. So episode 12 is our like philosophy.
It's our
cast.
It's our heady cast.
Yeah, it's heady cast. This is headcast.
Headcast, dude. But it's like the one concept of the philosopher that says the more I learn, the more I know, the less I know. The more I learn about myself and the world, the more I realize I know nothing.
Yeah.
Overall, and it really comes back to what you were saying earlier in the previous podcast, is that our generation, I don't think it's even specifically our generation, but maybe every single generation before us and perhaps many more after us, is that we're kind of stuck in this arrested development. And that's what it comes down to. Is like you can't get past the ego. You just can't. Like you're just stuck there, and you think that this is the end all be all. That you are the inevitability.
Especially in a society, not to cut you off, but especially in a society that like found a way to commodify that arrested development, found a way to commodify that ego, found a way to commodify and
commercialize nostalgia
and exploit profit from, like, when you see Disney adults, all these things of just like
Pokemon adults.
There's this way of like, it's the same way of like, I have all these Legos from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And as much as I would love to sit down and play Legos, I'm not going to fucking sit down and play Legos because every time I go to do it, I'd remind myself I'm a fucking adult.
And there's even that like liberalist kind of therapy where it's just like, embrace your inner child.
It's
like there's nothing wrong.
You should love to play Legos. You should love to go to Disney World. Blah, blah, blah.
The treat economy. Get yourself a treat. Buy yourself a sweets.
I should fucking love to buy this thing. I should love to consume this thing. If I'm going to buy something, if I'm going to consume something, the line that I'll draw is that it has to be art.
Yeah.
It has to be, if I'm consuming something, even if it's a bullshit something like a blockbuster movie, as long as it's a fucking movie, movie is art. I don't give a fuck. Movie's art.
And you can support the creators.
TV, yeah, there's some artists involved.
And you're consuming something that you could potentially learn from.
When it comes to a commodity, I'm not going to ever buy a fucking Funko Pop. I think I'm good. Dude, I love my wife. But her and Maddie will see the fucking Labubu's and they're loving it. She bought a knockoff. She bought a knockoff one. We have there's a Squishmallow right here.
I know. I actually like Squishmallows.
Oh, dude, I like the Squishmallows too. They're great. Yeah. But no, it's true that like there's commodities.
No, I low key do like the knockoff version of the trending commodities. You know what I mean?
I like that idea too.
In
the same way,
Labubus.
in the same way that like I have a lot of resistance to getting new video games, but I really like the emulator that Julie bought me because I feel like I fucking
you're like kind of pirating games, right?
I would never fucking like. I'm not.
That's probably why you don't like the Oblivion remaster because it's like the one big mainstream trending game that people are going through right now, and you're like, "Fuck this."
Yeah, exactly.
But you probably would be if you had a computer. You'd probably be big into like modifying stuff.
If I could steal shit and stuff like that, I'd be all. Oh hell yeah!
That's on me, dude. I'm gonna make the fucking windscreen stink, dude.
We're really coming around on this one, dude. We're really fucking bringing this one around, dude.
More like head and a little ass.
Fuck yeah. Dude, the one thing that we didn't talk about last episode that we meant to was so the Jojo Siwa thing is so she went on Celebrity Big Brother, and I don't know, did you see any of the Mickey Rourke controversy?
No.
Okay, so here's the sequence of events. Jojo Siwa goes on Celebrity Big Brother. Two of the other contestants that matter in this story are this guy, Chris Hughes, I think is his name, who was on Love Island in the UK, or is on Love Island. He's on one of the Love Islands, but he's this reality show. Mm-hmm. The other character that matters in this is Mickey Rourke, famous actor,
dude,
blah, blah, blah.
He got to be in his 60s, right?
Yeah, he is. So on the first...
And he used to be a beautiful man.
The first couple weeks of them being... Do you know how Big Brother works? They're in this house the entire time.
That's like constantly being surveilled.
And it's constantly being filmed, and they're not allowed any outside contact, and they're filmed. Big Brother's actually a good show. It's like a good, it's a good like
experiment.
It's a good experiment. Yeah, it's a good social experiment. It's one of the few reality shows where I'm like, this one's interesting. It's like Survivor. It's like, this is actually interesting because you can see like how these fuckers work. Out. So that's one of the shows Julie and I will watch together.
It's too perfect to be scripted.
Yeah. But so Mickey Rourke at one point, Jojo Siwa was talking about being a lesbian, and Mickey Rourke starts talking about oh, you date girls, you're a lesbian, and Jojo's like, yeah, and he's just like, does anyone got a fag?
Some woman. I need a fag. Not talking to you.
Talking about it's just like I would really use a fag. Like talking about fucking like,
so he's just being an instigator.
And the producers were like, "Hey, you can't say that fucking shit. You can't fucking say that shit." and then he said to her like, "I guarantee by the end of this, you won't be lesbian anymore. Like you won't be kissing girls anymore. Some shit like that." Well, he gets kicked off the show because of the terrible comments that he's making and everything like that.
But he was an oracle.
But actually, he might have been a little bit of an oracle
he was the
because
oracle of the
Jojo Siwa fucking falls in love with this Love Island guy, and they're cuddling, and they're like in the hot tubs together, and they're like in the beds together.
She looks like a newborn in her mother's arm.
Yeah, that video that I posted. Dude. Well, that's after they got out of the house, where she looks like a fucking bald baby in a fucking bed.
Yeah, the post-coitus.
Dude, so they're like on camera for the world to see, like falling in love.
But didn't she like break up with her girlfriend?
So
like some
her
public
girlfriend her girlfriend or they them friend, them friend, like maybe she might be non-binary, but her partner, her queer partner, flies all the way to the premiere, the Big Brother premiere after, because they do a filming cycle. So after they get out of the filming cycle and they're exposed to the world, blah, blah, blah.
So this was after they slept with each other?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were in the house the whole time together, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, because post-production takes a little while. Yeah.
So then they get out of the house, and then she flies out there to go meet him for this big after party when they're done filming. And at the party, with Chris Hughes in the other room, Jojo Siwa breaks up with her partner.
That's fucking crazy,
And then makes this announcement of like, I guess I'm moving to a different letter. I think I'm just more queer than I am lesbian. Blah, blah, like all this shit like that. God. The most fucking like.
I could because I always saw those theories that it was like a Viacom like plant that her lesbianness or whatever was fake. Not to like take away because obviously I'm an ally.
I don't think.
But you think it was like manufactured? Like
I don't think it was manufactured in that way. I think that she is a girl that like in the same way
she's
that a lot of people
socially,
a lot of people who just like she was a child star, and I think what happened is she was just on the internet a bunch. Yeah, never got a chance to grow up, and it has all these like conflicted emotions and doesn't know. So they see these things in the same way that like. I would never discount anyone transitioning or anything like that, but in the same way that you have more instances of people detransitioning now,
right, because
it's just because
dysphoric.
people are just exposed to new information, and maybe they're a young age and they don't quite know where they are, and the amount of people that we know who
there's a lot of confusion involved in the identity politics side of everything as well.
The amount of people that I know who were trans and then reverted to like maybe being non-binary because they developed a more nuanced opinion about their identity and everything. Totally acceptable.
Of course.
Unfortunately for her, she's in a public eye during the whole time of doing it.
Yeah,
and
so
she did it
documented.
In a very incredibly cringe way of where she's like going to Disney World and getting drunk on her 21st birthday and like going to like girls at Disney World and being like, I want to fuck this girl and like all this crazy
and
shit.
Doing like the goth evil like bad girl kind of thing.
Because she's just fucking cringe. There's this video of her on a podcast where I think it's like on fucking like Josh Peck's podcast from the Drake and Josh thing.
He's got a podcast?
Yeah, he's like on a video and she's like, my mind like needs to be freaking studied.
I'm a very unique case. The more you get to know me, the more you're like, yo, your brain's being studied when you kick the can. Because what is different in there? And it's something that I don't try to like prove to people that my brain's different, but it does work in very different ways. I
talking about how like twisted. You know that joke that joke I'll make where I'll be like, I'm just a little bit I'm twisted. I'm fucking like wicked in the head. I got a
wicked sense of humor.
I got like a twisted way of looking at the world. They should like fucking say. She was doing that like but like completely sincere. Shit. Yeah, she was doing that but completely sincere.
Wait, did you see that recent video where it's just like everyone's a fucking slug?
And then he meets that girl. Yeah, dude. Consumers. I like your jacket. What? Oh yeah. And then like they follow up. Dude, that fucking video is so good.
I fucking love Connor O'Malley so much.
Dude,
I have to brace myself to watch those videos.
The pipe technology.
Oh my! I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's this like TikTok style.
Please send me that one, please.
Yeah, I gotta send it to you. But he's so good at distilling like trends, and he's so good at like grabbing onto like a type of guy or a type of thing,
right?
And then like flipping that. Like I know that it's such like a fucking blasé way of talking
like
about
the manosphere incel type.
Yeah, but like when he did those Trump videos and shit like that, he does it in a way where it just seems like he is that guy in such a sincere way.
Like he's almost like a method actor.
Yeah. He has to be like a psychoanalyst somehow because that motherfucker can like read people. Yeah. So shout out Connor O'Malley. We got and if you haven't seen it, you guys need to watch the 103 Fever.
Oh god, you send me that like all the fucking time.
Every time it's the same way for people who don't know me and Collie's personal life because you wouldn't. Whenever there are two things that I send Collie B whenever I think about him.
The Rasta iguana.
One is whenever I think there's a picture of an iguana with a Rasta like dreads and a Rasta hat, and he's got money on a table and he's like smoking weed and there's a gun. And anytime I even think about that photo, I go and I find it and I send it to Collie B.
And Brandy made me that rug because of my request for my birthday. And it's right under my computer chair, so I see it every single day.
On the notes for this, I'll find the picture of that rug. And so in the notes for this episode, I'll put a picture of on the Instagram post of this episode. I'll put that in the photos.
Galen was so confused when he saw that shit too. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's our thing, dude.
It's just like it's our deal. But the other one is that there's a video of Connor O'Malley sending a voice message to Drake where he's like, Drake, I got 103 fever and it won't come down. And he's like doing like a rap song, and then he has an AI. The whole end of it is like an AI Drake rapping.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, it's peak.
Which is what he deserves for doing that Tupac shit. You know what I mean? That AI Tupac shit.
Yeah, fuck him.
You, man. Fuck you, Drake.
Yeah, fuck Drake.
You know, Drake would be like he'll be doing these performances where he's wearing like a bulletproof vest with like bullet holes in it after the Kendrick shit.
Yeah, because he took shots. And those shots, every one of those shots, you know what gauge those shots were?
12.
L
gauge?
L gauge.
Oh.
Because every shot he took was a new L.
Damn,
that's actually interesting. Hold up real quick. Shut up for a second.
Hold on. All right.
That's actually interesting when you think about it, how every single shot that Drake took. Hold on. You hear what I'm saying, right?
I'm sitting my white ass down and listening.
White girls are evolving.
But they can't because white women are evolving.
Every single L that Drake took was actually, every single shot that Drake took was actually like an L-gauge shotgun shell.
Yeah. Like an Allen wrench kind of like shooting out.
Hell yeah.
Bangers.
That's actually something to think about.
That's something to think about.
Hell yeah. Anything else to plug? We already did it. We already burned through this whole episode.
Dude, I have to piss. That's what I got to plug.
Dude, me too. Yeah, you're good. You're good, man. So, yeah. Mega Money for Carly B.
Dude, Mega Money Powerwall till the end of time.
We got Aleda. It's all going to be coming out. Aliada.
Ayúdame.
I like mess with ways to pronounce it. But yeah, it's all going to be coming out. Glam Tower on Instagram, Sweet Dream Baba, Mega Money Powerball on Instagram.
I put my account on private, and I've been unfollowing everybody, and I'm also blocking a bunch of people too, so don't fuck with me. I'll kill you.
Yeah. Unless if you follow us and say, we listen to Chuff Chat.
Yeah, then I'll approve you.
Then I'll approve it. Yeah. And then when we get so popular that there are weirdos in the group, then we'll start a Discord.
Yeah.
And we'll all be talking in the Discord, and we'll be
talk shit about you.
And we'll get like fun like things where we'll be like, hey, the dildo of the month. Did anyone see a dildo?
Right.
You know, like that kind of shit. But it'll all be under the scenes.
If you're spamming the N-word, we're gonna dox you. And
yeah, dude.
We've
had a lot of issues with our fans spamming the N-word.
Just all these stream snipers, you know, all these
stream snipers swatting
they're
us.
They're trying to wreck us, you know. They're trying to give us with the wrecked on the N-word tip. We have a black friend, and he's gonna come get your ass.
That's true. It's true. My new bit at work will be whenever a song will be playing at work, I'll go up to him and be like, I wrote this song with a lot of hard R's, but you'll never guess where I put them. I was listening to
that Katy Perry song.
Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso came on.
Oh no!
And there's a part in it when I went up to one of the guys at work and I was like, I rewrote the line of the song with a hard R in it, and you'll never guess what.
You'll never guess which one. Oh God! You know what I'm talking about with that Katy Perry trending song.
Oh yeah.
You're like a and somebody told me, they were like, I thought that was a new song. I'm like, no, that was like her second album that she came out with, dude. Thinking of you.
I think she's making a comeback.
You think? No, after the space adventure.
I think
after Katy Perry's space adventure.
I think after Katy Perry went to space, I think she's making a comeback.
All right, dude, I gotta piss, bro.
All right, bless.